Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Strong Stoic Podcast. I am your host. Of course, it's me, your friend, Brandon Tumblin. Now, many of us go-getters struggle with the notion of patience. Patience is naturally a very hard thing for us. When we want something, we don't want to wait for it. We want it right now. If you just started a new business, for example, I'm sure you can't wait to get your first 100 customers, or maybe you just started going to the gym and you find yourself looking into the mirror every day thinking, when will I see the gains? In this episode, I want to go over why patience is actually not an option in life. It's inevitable and necessary. This podcast is part of the Walled Garden Podcast Network. Check out thewalledgarden.com to learn more. Also, consider joining my Patreon at Brandon Tumblin. You can find me there on Patreon. Financial support is not expected, but it is deeply, deeply appreciated. Go join my Telegram group chat. There's a small percentage of you listeners on there. I know the numbers. Can't fool me. Go on and join the discussion. Also, go and follow me on Medium, which will really help me with monetization of my articles. I only need a few more, so please go on there and do that. And also, my articles are on the Stoic Gym magazine. What does it mean to have patience? When we think about having patience, really what we're talking about is not expecting progress or results too soon. Now, the gym example is a great one. If you don't have any patience, you will go to the gym for 5 days and then complain that there's no progress. If you have patience, you'll simply go to the gym every day or every other day, whatever your schedule says, and you'll patiently await the progress to come to you. Another example is trying to do a better job at work. Let's say you decide to go in an extra half hour early every morning to get a bit of extra work done. In your mind, this makes you a better employee. But it's not like you immediately go to CEO once you start doing this. You might not even get noticed for doing it for years. Even if you're just doing it stoically, meaning you're just doing it for you virtuously as a way to develop your character, you want to get up a little bit earlier, you want to have discipline, you want to work hard. It's not like you're going to develop this habit in 3 days. It takes years to develop, really. But why do we get impatient about this stuff? Why do we get impatient about progress, period? Well, really, we want to know if what we are doing is actually working. You know, there's really only so much time in a day. We all know that. There's 24 hours. And if we have goals, everything we do and everything that we do not do matters. If you wish to lose weight, you may start eating healthier. You may start going to the gym. Sure, all the studies say that this will make you lose weight, right? Just stop eating so much, eat a little bit healthier, go to the gym, exercise, and eventually you'll lose weight. There's nothing more established than that. But we have a hard time believing things until we see them. We have a hard time accepting that actually that does work. In other words, you could say that we often struggle with faith. We have a feeling it will work. We've seen other people do it. We've read the studies. We've listened to the personal trainers and the nutritionists. Yet we struggle to have faith that it will work for us too. What if we're different? What if we're just inherently overweight and inherently out of shape? And what if it's our destiny to be overweight and not in shape? What if that's our destiny and we can't change that? You see, I think that what underlines a lot of this impatience that we have day to day is that we don't have faith in ourselves. We don't believe that we are capable of becoming better. And when we don't believe that, when we don't trust the process, we become impatient. We think, if I don't see progress today, then that means it must not be working. And so I am simply inadequate. I can't become better. I can't become my ideal. This is flawed thinking. and a little bit more on that later. But Emerson has this quote, Ralph Waldo Emerson, that is just beautiful. He said, "Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience." Of course, we all know the Stoic doctrine of live according to nature. Part of what that means is live according to Mother Nature. Emerson encourages us to consider that Mother Nature's pace is actually one of patience. And if you think about that naturalistically, it makes a lot of sense. If you think on our evolutionary history, all the way back to when we were single-celled organisms, it's been a really, really long time. Evolution itself, we measure in the magnitude of thousands or even millions of years. It's a slow, patient process. That is nature's pace. Consider the time it's taken for you to become who you are right now, not just in your life, but all of your ancestors, both human and non-human. It's been a very, very long time. You are of nature. In some ways, perhaps human beings are the masterpiece of evolution. So far, anyway. We have the most highly developed mind. That's that divine mind that the Stoics talked about. Being impatient, it's simply not living in accordance with nature, because nature, well, her secret is patience. Progress simply takes time. Nothing changes overnight. And that's a good thing at the end of the day. Can you imagine if things changed quickly? Sure, you'd be in great shape after one day in the gym, but then later that night when you eat a chocolate bar, you'd be overweight again. The fact that progress takes time is a good thing. It's a blessing. It also means that those who become successful are the ones who really want it. And you know that when you see someone that's successful or is in great shape, there's no question that they've done something to earn that. You know that if you're seeing someone that is in really good physical shape, you know that they weren't significantly overweight yesterday. Now, of course, there's a role of genetics in all of this, but at the end of the day, you know that there had to be some work that went into that. That makes it worth having. Now, wouldn't you want people to think that of you once you achieve something? Or would you rather them think, well, yeah, he's in shape, but he probably just worked out once this morning and got in shape, and once he eats a donut later, he's going to be overweight again. I know this is kind of ridiculous, but that's my point. That's exactly my point. It can be no other way than that worthwhile things simply take time and patience. Nothing happens overnight. Solzhenitsyn thought that, and I quote, "A man who's in a hurry won't live to see the end of his stretch. He'll tire and soon be done for." Now that's a very interesting idea. So if you hurry, if you're impatient, if you're hasty, Solzhenitsyn thought that you'd actually live a shorter life, or at the very least, you're going to burn out and not finish whatever the project is that you started. Why could that be? Well, I kind of mentioned it there because of burnout. If you're not patient when you're prone to do, what you're prone to do is work a bit too hard. You might think, how the hell could someone possibly work too hard? Like if you have a goal in life, how could they possibly work too hard? The simple answer is because it's not sustainable. Let's take the gym example again. If you start on January 1st, and we're getting awfully close to January 1st, if you start January 1st getting up at 5 a.m. and you go to the gym for an hour and a half, you don't eat until noon, you intermittent fast, which is really great practice, by the way. You eat a salad for lunch, you have a protein shake, you stretch in the evening, you don't eat anything after 8 p.m., you go to bed early. That's a class A schedule. But how sustainable is that for someone who only just recently hit snooze 20 times before crawling out of bed, going to work, coming home, ordering a pizza, and watching TV all night? It's not sustainable. It's not realistic. It's too much too soon. You are being too impatient and you're trying to make as much progress as possible in the shortest time possible. But again, that is not the pace of nature. And so that pace simply doesn't work. What if I instead told you that, you know what, for the month of January, why don't you just try and get to the gym 4 days a week? You don't even have to work out. You don't even have to work out. Just get there, and as soon as you walk through the door, you're allowed to turn around and then come home. Well, you might think, but I haven't done anything. I haven't exercised. Like, how is this going to help with my goal? Well, that's very, very short-sighted. What you've done is you've packed your gym clothes, you've gotten in the car, you've driven to the gym or walked to the gym, you've got out of the car, you grab your gym stuff, you walked through the door, and then you turned around and you did it all in reverse and you went home. That's not nothing. Often the most difficult step in a journey is the first step. The first step in the hardest step in the gym is the first one into the gym. So it's not nothing. And what you're doing there is you're building a very crucial habit. Getting to the gym, which you need to do before you can even exercise, 4 days a week. There's this analogy of an ice cube. If you have an ice cube, ice melts at about 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, sorry, American friends, I'm going to deal with Celsius here. And it's also much simpler, like 0 degrees Celsius. Come on. But anyway, so if you have an ice cube and it's minus 10 degrees, the ice cube's not going to change. And if you slowly increase the temperature, so you go -9, -8, -7, -6, and you slowly increase it right up to 0 degrees and then +1 degrees, what's going to happen is there's not going to be any noticeable change for the first little while until you reach that 0 degrees Celsius point. The ice cube is not going to melt at all. But it's not like you're not making any progress. You're still changing the room temperature. You're getting closer to seeing that change, even though right now you don't see it. And that's what it's like, building these little habits. That's what it's like having patience. Just because you're not seeing immediate progress doesn't mean it's not doing anything. Just because you come home from the gym on day 1 and you look in the mirror and you think, well, what the hell, man? I haven't lost any weight. I don't have any, my biceps are just as small as they always were. My thighs are, there's no muscle in there, man. What's going on? That doesn't mean it's not doing anything. It just means that things take time. You have to keep going. So how do we get over this natural impatience? Like the example I just gave, you need to focus on long-term sustainability. I think that's really a big step in the right direction. What's one habit that I can adopt today that's going to move me closer to my goals? And that habit that I want to adopt, it has to be attainable. I have to be able to do it. Don't try and be Arnold Schwarzenegger on January 1st. Try and be a consistent person that goes to the gym, however, let's say 4 days a week by December 31st. Let's say you have a year to develop that habit. And how you do that is by adopting one small habit at a time. That first habit might be just showing up to the gym and not even doing anything. If you have to do that for a month before you can actually go in and then hop on the treadmill for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, that's still a step in the right direction. When you have a patient mindset, it allows you to plan things more realistically. You begin to prioritize longevity over short-term success. And that is crucial because there's no such thing as short-term success. I'll say it again. Patience is not an option if you want to succeed. Patience is not an option if you want to succeed. It's a necessity. You cannot succeed without it. Things take time, so focus on what you can do today. And if you do that every single day for the next year, one day, and I don't know what day it's going to be, but one day you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to notice, holy shit, I'm actually making progress. My patience and hard work is finally paying off. My faith is paying off. And then what you're going to understand is that there's really no limit to what you can achieve if you have the patience. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. If you're new here, there's episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. Consider leaving a rating and review wherever you are listening to this. Also, check me out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube's as well. Reach out to me, join the Telegram group chat. I'd love to hear from you. Not going to bug you anymore. Thanks again. Cheers. Until next time.